Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to do a new stitch in crocheting called a half double crochet. I'm going to start like I did in the original video where you did your chain stitch by wrapping it around. We'll review a little bit, and making my slip knot. So I make my X, and then I want to pull that yarn through. I kind of grab it through the loop with my hook, and then it's already on there, and I snug that down. Okay, pulling both the ball yarn and my tail. Okay, so once I get that stitch on, I'm going to move my working yarn to the left side, get my fingers set up so that my yarn is wrapped around. My pinky is holding on to that, creating my little bit of tension. This is where I'm going to be grabbing the yarn to work with, and my thumb and my middle finger are going to hold right underneath that slip knot so that I have control over what I'm doing. So we're going to do 10 chains. So I'm going to bring my yarn out, swing it down, and come through. Slide out, twist down, bring through. That's 2. As I work, remember I bring my fingers up. 3, slide out, twist down. 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 2 more. If you need more of a review of this, you can go to the chain stitch video, and that will be a lot more in depth. But I'm going to move on today for anybody that is ready for this. So I have 10 chains, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a stitch called the half double crochet. If you just chain, this is all you get. You get this long skinny thing, but it is the basis of working in crocheting, and you need to be able to get your hand movement more fluid, so this is a good way to do that. So what I'm going to do is think about it not as working this way, but we're working along side to side. So I'm going this way with my rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my hand set up, and this time instead of just pulling the yarn through, I'm going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to skip one chain and I'm going to go into the next one. All right, so here's my first one, and there's my second one. You can kind of see the hole that's created. So I have my yarn wrapped around, and I put my hook into the hole. Now I'm going to grab my yarn a second time and bring it through. So now I have 3 loops on the hook. I grab my yarn another time and I go through 1, 2, 3 loops. That is a half double crochet. It's a very basic stitch, but it gives you a good understanding of how to work. So now I'm going to move down. So here's my next hole. Okay, you see how I kind of use my back middle finger to kind of find where I'm going to put the hook? I wrap it around, I put my hook into that hole, I slide out and I grab my yarn and I bring it through. Now I have the 3 loops, I grab my yarn again and I go through all 3 loops. So let me move my fingers down. So I'm holding on to this exactly where I want to work. So there's the next hole, and you can kind of see how this stitch, see how that wraps around that little chain there? So that tells me that I've worked in that one, and then I need to go to the next hole. Wrap it around, into the hole, bring it through, slide out and get your yarn again, and bring it through all 3. Okay, so I'm going down every link of the chain. So I'm going to have 9 of these because I remember I skipped the first one, and I go through all 3. So anytime you need to set it up again. Okay, so I did that one, so now I'm going here, wrap it around, into the hole, bring it through, wrap it, and all 3. Into the hole, bring it through, I have 3 loops, go through all 3. Move down. So you can see I have 1 here and 1 here I have to do. That one's attached. So I'm moving down, wrap it around, into the hole, bring it through to the front of the work, grab my yarn and go through all 3. I have 1 more to do. In and bring it through. Okay, so there is my first row of half double crochets. Half double crochet is a really good stitch to learn in the beginning. It gives you a lot of the technique that you would use for many stitches. Okay, so now how do I do the next row? I turn it around. So think about horizontally, not up and down, right? So we're working this way. So now if I were to do my half double right now, this wouldn't have much height, and you can see how much height that stitch has. So before I start my next row, I'm going to chain 1. And you can see how that gives me height right there to start the next row. So I'm going to take my yarn again, and I'm going to go into that first hole, bring the yarn through, and through all 3, moving down. So now, if you look at it, the row's a little bit different now because the first row I was working into the chain. Now I'm working into the top of the half double crochet. So there's like a V on the top. You see that like split there? Where I'm putting my hook is right underneath both strands of that V. So if you kind of pull it apart, you can put your finger there, you can see where the hole is that you're putting your hook in. So again, wrap it around into the hole underneath both of those, bring it through to the front, wrap it around, and go through all 3, moving down. Here's my next one. Wrap it around, in, bring it through, go through all 3, move down. Wrap it around, into the hole, bring it through all 3. Wrap it around, in, through all 3. So you can see my second row is starting, and there's another one, I have one more to do. In, bring it through, bring it through. Now I'm going to get to a point where on the end it's going to look a little different than the rest, but you can see that that's still sticking out. So that was like my chain from the row before. So I still have to do one in that last stitch because it's not going to be even. So I'm going to wrap it around, and it may not look exactly the same, but I want to make sure that my row is even all the way across. So now I'm ready to turn, chain 1, and start again. In and through. Wrap it, and watch my hands as they move. I'm going a little faster now, so I kind of need to watch the hand movement, how that my right hand and my left hand lets the yarn come when I need it, and my right hand does all of the maneuvering. Now, right now I'm working back and forth, making something that's going to be rectangular. Okay, I'm at that point again where it looks a little funny. See it? How it doesn't look like the other stitches, but I know that since it's sticking out, I need to kind of just put my hook in there someplace and pull it through and make it look even. Okay, so there's 3 rows of half double crochet. This is, like I said, the basic stitch, and keep practicing, and then we can move on to a major project.